When the empath finally chooses peace over people because you are exhausted. Your mind races, your heart aches, and yet you keep sacrificing your peace for people who don't even notice your effort. Enough. It's time to stop pretending that being available for everyone else is your purpose. Your life is not a charity. Your energy is not a toy. You have been bending, bowing, and breaking yourself under the weight of expectations that were never meant for you, giving endlessly to people who will never give back, and carrying burdens that weren't yours to carry in the first place. The brutal truth is that your empathy has been weaponized against you, and the moment you realize that the world does owe you recognition for your kindness is the moment you finally start reclaiming your life. You've been conditioned to believe that being a constant source of comfort and stability for everyone else is a noble act, but the reality is that it has kept you invisible, exhausted, and disconnected from the person you were born to be. Every hour spent worrying, every tear shed over someone who does care, every sleepless night spent soothing emotional chaos that once yours has been a silent theft of your own existence. You have been living in survival mode for others while your own soul screams for attention, for calm, for peace, for space to breathe. And now, you finally recognize that your first loyalty must be to yourself, your own mind, and your own life. You are not selfish for prioritizing your peace. You are human. And human means boundaries, limits, and the courage to protect what is yours. You think you are helping. You think your compassion is noble, but here is the ugly truth. Every time you bend over backward for someone who drains you, you teach them to take more. Every ignored boundary, every overextended apology, every sleepless night is a lesson in self-erasure. You are not a villain for protecting your own soul. You are not abandoning anyone by choosing yourself. The people who depend on you without reciprocating have learned to expect your energy as a constant, as though it were limitless, as though your heart had no edges or walls. And the harder you try to satisfy them, the more they lean on you, the more they demand, the more they take. It never ends, because it is a cycle built on imbalance, on unspoken debts, on silent compromises that you never asked to make. Every time you ignore your gut, every time you suppress your own needs, every time you rationalize your exhaustion as just what caring people do, you lose fragments of yourself, little pieces that never return. And one day, if you don't stop, you won't recognize who you are beneath the weight of their demands. You've been sacrificing your own growth, your own energy, your own mental clarity, in exchange for the illusion of significance in other people's lives. But significance is measured by how much pain you endure for others. It is measured by how fully alive you are, how uncompromised, how unshakably present in your own world. Every time you let someone else as chaos become your responsibility, you trade your freedom for an empty sense of duty. And the moment you realize that your peace is a resource, not a privilege, that your life is a gift, not a service, that your empathy is a power, not a liability, that is the moment everything begins to shift. Here, something no one tells you. People-pleasing is addiction disguised as virtue. You chase approval like it is oxygen while your own desires suffocate in silence. You wake up tired, burdened by unspoken obligations, haunted by the imagined disappointment of others, while your own soul quietly asks for acknowledgement, for space, for the simplest recognition that you exist beyond your usefulness to them. Your peace, your clarity, your freedom, they were collateral damage. And the cruelest part, most of these people won't even notice your sacrifice. They never did, they never will. You've been walking through life with a backpack full of invisible weights, thinking that kindness alone will justify your suffering, thinking that empathy is a currency that will earn you respect or love. But the reality is harsher than you've allowed yourself to admit. True respect begins with respecting yourself. True love begins with loving yourself. The rest is noise. The rest is an echo chamber of expectations you never consented to, of gratitude that was never offered, of recognition that was never given. And until you stop bending, until you stop accommodating, until you stop sacrificing what is yours, you will remain trapped in the same cycle, constantly exhausted, constantly unfulfilled, constantly believing that your value comes from your availability rather than your existence. Truth hits hard. The world does. It needs your martyrdom. It needs you alive, whole, and unbroken. You've been carrying others' chaos for so long that you forgot what calm feels like. You've been practicing empathy at the cost of your sanity, overextending yourself emotionally, mentally, and even physically, to a point where exhaustion became your normal, stress became your identity, and self-neglect became your default. Your empathy isn't weakness, but unchecked it becomes a leash that keeps you tethered to drama, toxicity, and endless emotional debt. The people who take without giving, who demand without reciprocating, who exploit your compassion without noticing your humanity, are not your responsibility. They are reflections of their own unresolved chaos, and your efforts to fix them only reinforce the illusion that your life exists to stabilize theirs. The world does need you to carry burdens that aren't yours. The world needs your clarity, your stability, your unshakable sense of self. And the sooner you realize that your worth is inherent, not conditional on others' approval, the sooner you stop bleeding for people who will never recognize your value. Every boundary you set, every no you speak, every moment of stillness you allow yourself is a reclaiming of your life, and peace begins not as a reward but as a declaration that you will no longer be consumed by forces outside your control. Peace is found in control or in constant giving. It's found in choice. And the moment you choose yourself over someone else, it's approval. You reclaim what was stolen. Saying no isn't cruelty, it is courage. Walking away is abandonment, it is survival. Every time you whisper no to nonsense, you whisper yes to your own clarity. Every boundary you enforce is a declaration that your life matters more than other people. Unending demands. You are not a servant to anyone as chaos. You are not a caretaker of everyone. Unresolved trauma. You are a human being with limited energy, limited time, and an undeniable need to protect your mental and emotional space. The power of empathy lies in its intentionality, in its conscious application, in the ability to give without draining yourself, to support without losing yourself, to love without sacrificing your soul. And choosing peace over people is not a betrayal. It is the ultimate act of self-respect, the unshakable acknowledgement that your well-being is non-negotiable, that your life is sacred, and that your presence matters most when it is whole, strong, and untethered from constant emotional compromise. Stop confusing loyalty with self-destruction. Real loyalty starts with honoring your own needs first. People who truly care about you will adapt, will respect, will adjust to the fact that you have boundaries, that you have limits, that your mind and heart cannot be endlessly available. People who don't were never meant to stay. And that is not cruelty, not vindication, not a punishment. That is reality. Accepting this truth is liberating, not bitter. It is the moment you stop bleeding for people who never bled for you. It is the moment you stop justifying their disregard, their demands, their insensitivity, and start recognizing that their lack of care does not diminish your worth. Every relationship, every connection, every bond should be measured not by what you can endure, but by what it contributes to your life. If someone consistently drains, manipulates, or disrespects you, choosing peace over people is not only justified, it is essential. And every day you resist this truth. You prolong suffering that could be avoided, delay the restoration of your mental clarity, and deny yourself the unshakable calm you deserve. Your energy is currency. You have been bankrupting yourself on unworthy accounts for too long. You have given and given and given, expecting gratitude or recognition or at least reciprocity, and received none, yet you keep offering more. The quiet mornings, the mind uncluttered, the heart unburdened, these are not luxuries. They are your birthright. And the moment you stop giving them away recklessly, the world suddenly becomes sharper, clearer, quieter. Your vision sharpens. Your decisions become cleaner. Your ability to feel, to think, to act, to love without self-erasure emerges stronger than ever. Peace is not an abstract concept or a distant dream. It is a tangible, achievable state. You create the moment you refuse to allow others. Chaos to dictate your inner world. It is a power reserved for those who are brave enough to enforce boundaries, smart enough to protect themselves, and strong enough to walk away from what poisons them. And once you embrace that power, your life begins to transform in ways you never imagined. Relationships improve, clarity expands, resilience deepens, and the soul finally breathes. Everyone expects you to be available. But here is a truth most empaths refuse to accept. Being constantly available is the fastest route to being invisible. Every time you bend to someone else as agenda, every time you adjust your priorities to suit theirs, every time you suppress your own needs in favor of theirs, you lose a piece of yourself. You become a shadow of your own life, an echo of what other people need from you, a hollow container for other people's emotions. Stop showing up for everyone else while disappearing from your own life. Your presence is valuable. Your time is finite. Your mind is sacred. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. Your empathy is a strength, but it is only powerful when it serves your intentions, not theirs. When you finally recognize that, you begin to reclaim your agency, to draw lines, to protect your energy, and to prioritize your peace above pleasing. That is not cruelty. That is survival. That is clarity. That is mastery over your own life. No is not failure. It is a weapon. It is a shield. It is the boundary that says, I will not trade my sanity for someone else as comfort. Every no builds a wall around your mind, your heart, your life. And behind that wall is a space so serene, so unshakable, so inviolable, that nothing external can destabilize it. Peace is the result of countless no-s. Freedom is the result of refusing to be complicit in chaos that isn't yours. Every time you decline a request that drains you, every time you resist manipulation disguised as need, every time you refuse to be the emotional crutch for someone who refuses to grow, you are reclaiming your life in increments, and each increment compounds, until the peace you have fought for becomes not just a state of mind but a permanent reality, an unshakable fortress in which your soul thrives, rather than merely survives. Imagine a life where peace comes first, where your empathy is a strength, not a burden, where relationships are chosen, not drained. That life is not fantasy. It is waiting the moment you decide it is more important than pleasing everyone else. It is waiting the moment you stop sacrificing for people who never sacrificed for you. And when that moment arrives, your clarity will shock you, your strength will astonish you, and your soul will feel weightless for the first time in years. The people who truly matter will rise to meet you there, and the ones who cannot will fade without notice, leaving room for growth, joy, and a life unchained. Your peace is contagious, your boundaries are magnetic, and your life finally becomes yours in ways that constant self-sacrifice never could achieve. And the lesson is simple. Peace is not given. It is claimed, fought for, and protected with every ounce of courage and clarity you possess. Stop giving what isn't earned. Stop bending for people who break you. Choose peace. Choose yourself. Today, not tomorrow. Not when they realize your worth. Today, every moment you continue to sacrifice for unworthy demands is a moment your soul dies a little. Every compromise for chaos you did. The invite erodes the foundation of your life. Choose peace over people. Choose clarity over noise. Choose boundaries over endless compromise. The world does not need your exhaustion. It needs your presence, fully alive, fully intact, fully untouchable. Choose now and reclaim the life that has been quietly screaming for you to protect it. Peace is your birthright. Choose it, fiercely, unapologetically, immediately.